Thursday. Yes, this is it, guys. It is Thursday. It is 9, so it's UK Cowboys time. How are we doing, guys?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, doing good. Doing good. Almost the end of the week. Yeah. More football tonight as well.
Yeah.
It is. It's an NFC East matchup, in fact. The big game. I don't know. Did you guys, just before we start talking about the Dallas Cowboys, you guys see the Giants game?
Yeah. I don't know what two players it was, an offensive lineman or a wide receiver blocking each other. That is just
It was that.
Thought I was watching some Simpsons or something.
It's like honestly, if you were to associate the New York Giants based on that game, you would put the Benny Hill music behind them. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Well, they did that last. They did that last year in the Giants Redskins game. NFL UK posted one with there was the catch, the fumble, and then it sort of trickled back about 20 yards or so, and everybody was diving on the ball trying to get it, and it was just rolling out with their reach.
So New York teams are just cursed out. There's the butt fumble. It's like a comedy sketch, isn't it?
It was. Yeah. It was indeed, man.
Yes.
Looking for...
Yes, but anyway, guys, it is season 3, episode 4, 134. I am Mike. That is Jamie. That is Lorne, and that is Paul. And we are on for the pregame show for this weekend's game, which is against the LA. Make sure you say LA, not the other one. LA Chargers, which is in SoFi Stadium. 9:25 p.m. kickoff here in the UK, and it's on Sky as well, which is good news for people on Sky, bad news for people who register for Game Pass, but get both. That's all I can say to that. Before we go any further, before we start the news and updates, guys, let's just begin with saying, how do you feel about this game in comparison to last week's game?
I was looking forward to this game.
Yeah, until about 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah, I was.
I don't know. I was.
I think that's the main one. I think that's the main thing. Is like we were excited. Now we're like, You know,
you can still be excited.
Like offensively, I have no doubt in my mind we can still expose LA without a shadow of a doubt, but. Defensively, I now have a concern, especially on the front four or front
Listen,
this could be a tougher game than last week for me. This football team drafted well over the last couple of years. They've recruited well. This could be worse than last week. Not to put down on the show to start with. I mean, I know we're only 2 minutes in, but.
Well, we'll dissect it, and I'll try and find some positives for you, because you know what I'm like. I'll dig into it and find all the good stuff, things to be happy about, and we'll just gloss over the crap bits. But let's just start off, guys, with this week's news and updates. And I'll press the right button when we're ready, guys. See, we'll get there in the end. It's kind of like a duck on the pond, but we're getting there. All right, so some news and updates. Obviously, we'll talk about this. We touched on it in the last show on the post-game show, but we'll talk about it tonight. The Lyle Collins 5-game suspension. Terrence Steele has been given the nod. Literally, Jerry Jones was talking on 105 The Fan and said, yeah, he's got the job. Brian Broaddus very openly said he doesn't like Nsekhe. When it comes to who he's facing in terms of Joey Bosa, I would agree. Nsekhe's a good run blocker, not so much on the pass. In other news, Bradley Gregory's got COVID, could still play. So we haven't ruled him out yet. He's in our starting lineup. Whether that happens through testing, we'll touch on that too. Chauncey Golston had a hamstring injury. Good news is full participant today. So that's something to be happy about. In other news, though, Donovan Wilson has gone out with a groin injury. the dreaded groin. Wait till you hear some news on that. Nation Wright, who I want to talk about later on the defensive side, had to step out of training because of a personal matter. Tank, then, that's the big one. Broken foot, we'll talk about that too. Michael Gallup, he's moved to IR because of the calf, which means Cedric Wilson is going to be starting from the slot. And Cowboys, they are an underdog, a 3.5 point underdog for this game, which we'll talk about later as well. So where do you want to start, guys? Lyle, Randy Gregory, Tank, Gallup, where do you want to start?
Do you think Lyle did it? The only reason I'm saying it is because them tests are coming up. If you don't turn up for a test, that brings issues for me.
No, well, here, Jimmy, here's my issue with this, right? We spoke quite a wee fair bit in depth on this on Tuesday, and it wasn't for Professor Mark Owen that posted a tweet out about this. Is the list of the violations and that there is nothing in the NFL list regarding to a 5-game suspension. There's a whole list of like 4-game, 2-game, 10-game indefinitely, but there's ones beforehand, like first offenses, and it's like $20,000. Then second offense is like $60,000, all that type of stuff. So the way I'm kind of thinking now is like they've just basically made this ban just out the frickin' blue. Personally, for me, I think there's something behind the scenes on this. I don't know if it's just pure conspiracy or whatever, but from looking at, like, based on the NFL list, you're talking about at least 7 violations to get to that point of a 6-game ban. 7. If that's the case, we would have been known about it. It would have been documented. It would have been on the Cowboys media. Brian Broaddus and everybody would be talking about it. Yep. They just made a violation. He got fined. Whenever a player gets fined, it's documented. It's out in the open. We've not heard anything regards to this at all. So my personal opinion about the whole Lyle Collins thing is utter bullshit.
Oh, no, I get it from that aspect. What I mean is that they know these testings are coming up, so why miss a testing? How they've obviously handled it, like you say, that this should have probably been more along the lines of a fine. But if he's not turning up for a known test that he's going to have, then what volumes does it speak? Because if you've got no to hide, then why not turn up for the test? That's what I'm getting at in that.
There is some mitigation in it that I think they've been talking that some of these missed tests were when Lyle was, obviously the Cowboys were going through the initial start of everybody being off with COVID. So there was a lot of things where, I'm coming into the office. No, wait a minute, we're going virtual. So there was little things like that where, the guy's plans have changed throughout the day or whatever, and it's
self-isolating,
self-isolating, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously, Lyle had injured the condition with the stingers as well, so he was maybe getting a bit of medical treatment for that as well at the same time as he was meant to be at these tests. But I mean, the one thing I would say is it's a good job the NFL's not signed up to the US anti-doping agency rules, because
USADA.
Three missed tests, and that's you're banned for 2 years. You see it in other sports like cycling,
the UFC,
what have you.
The UFC are very dependent on USADA, but it works great for them. Like for the NFL with the scheduling conflicts and stuff like that, and random appearances at your home of a guy say, right, pissing this cup, like it wouldn't really work in a way, like especially if you're having to fly out week 1, week 2, whatever, and that. Like if a guy comes up your door and you're already at an away date, like traveling back from, say for example, I don't know, from LA this week, I mean, I'm not going to be there, so why am I getting punished when it's based on the team it's doing it? You know what I mean? I'm just it's this whole situation with Lyle Collins is really freaking frustrating, and
it's confusing is what it is.
I mean,
there's also there's something I was hearing about the other day as well. Is it's not just doing the test. It's you can turn up for the test, but if you can't produce on at the time, then
a
that's
sample.
That's a black mark against you. There's also that he's obviously in the program, so he's obviously tested positive at some point in the past. He's in the program. He's having to go through this, and alongside that, there's levels of counselling where you've got to talk to people. You've got to, and if you're, particularly if you're bothered by, say, a stinger or something like that, and you're having to talk to somebody while your neck's sore or something like that, you can be a bit grouchy, and that could be enough that you bite somebody's head off and they say, right, that's a black mark against you. There just seems to be a whole load of stuff that's up in the air.
Yeah.
This, as usual with NFL Network, somebody releases it, a source releases it, and then it's up to half an hour later the league confirms it, the Cowboys confirm it, but there wasn't the proper due process in terms of appeals going on.
It's all about the timing.
Yeah. But obviously we're he's having to take the suspension while the appeal's going on. We're not having a case like Zeke where he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in and out. So it is what it is. At best he's not going to lose any. If they turn around and say, right, okay, you're reinstated, fair enough. He's served 2 games off. He'll get his paycheck back for those 2 games, but it is what he is. And I'd much rather get him out of the way just now and get him back for the long haul, 5-6 games into the season.
The appeal process as well is a bit bullshit to me, because like you say, because he's got to, while the appeal's going on, he's got to serve his suspension. Well, if he's got to serve his suspension, then you're effectively saying you're guilty of whatever.
No, remember, Jimmy, it was the exact same with Zeke.
It's crazy. Isn't it? Should it be not? If you're going to appeal it, then you still should be able to play, because, like I say, it's like Mike touched on it earlier. It's a bit of a grey area, and like you say, you can plead your innocence, and like you say with the Zeke stuff, you can plead your innocence, but then while you plead your innocence, you've still got to take the punishment. Well, that's a lot of bollocks. Let him play, and if you find out that he's done wrong, and then you suspend him. You can't have it both ways. The NFL like to be judge, jury, and executioner, don't they? And it's bullshit.
Yep. Just a wee quick shout out to South of Heaven 88. Thanks for swinging by to the show, guys. From Orlando, Florida. I mean, you guys are the MVPs, as you know. But guys, get your comments in. Let us know what you think about the Lyle Collins situation, because we're really curious to know what you guys think as well.
Yeah. As you said, the MVPs. Like, at the end of the day, that's why we do this on you, because otherwise it's just us lot talking amongst ourselves, arguing, slagging each other off, then behind each other's backs. But I mean, guys, let's move on to the next one before this just becomes the Lyle Collins episode. True. Randy Gregory, he's out at the moment due to the old Rona. That's come in. The good news is 2 things. That apparently he's asymptomatic, which is good news, and he's double vaccinated, also good news.
Yeah.
So if he, and obviously at the time of recording this, we don't have any news.
I would imagine
by Sunday we'll know more. That has he passed both tests, and the big one, of course, is he fully fit? Because this can hit you for 6. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you guys think. To me, I don't think it's going to be the case of the negative tests. The big thing for me is going to be, is he healthy enough to play?
I think he will. I think he will
too.
I think if he passes the test, now, the one thing when Jerry was on 105.3, he said that he had minor symptoms. So he's not asymptomatic as such. So he's still got to get through this.
I don't know what minor symptoms of COVID is.
Well, I know, and it's not COVID, it's the COVID. So
okay,
the COVID.
But But yeah, I mean, he's got to get rid of those symptoms first. Just same as Zach Martin, you know, he's got to get through those symptoms first, and then get the 2 negative tests. Now, thankfully, you know, last week we were playing on a Thursday night. This week we're playing on a Sunday. So in theory, it is possible that he can test negative, you know, the next couple of days, and he's back on. Again, what his cardiovascular system's like, I don't know. But I mean, you know, even having them on 5-6 plays a game is, you know, with the other news, you know, we need to generate some sort of pass rush, and we don't know what the hell we've got with the others.
Listen, just to kind of add on top of that, like we're talking about like Randy Gregory's fitness and that stuff here. What is there mean to say that these guys, even though they're pretty much housebound, they would still have the equipment to still do some type of exercise, be in the back garden, do some get-offs, have a treadmill in the house, still keep the fitness levels up regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's whether they feel up to it.
Oh, trust me, Randy Reddy, like any player will be up for playing the game, especially now he knows that.
No. I mean in terms of like practicing, you know, and all the rest of it while he's at home.
Absolutely, he would want to know the strengths and weaknesses. Like regardless, like if it was me, I would want to be. I would be in the Zoom calls, try to get in as much information just in case I will be starting. Like I don't want to miss a single thing. Like that, and Gregory knows that himself. Like he'll be wanting to earn that new contract from Dallas. He wants to kind of prove more than anything to be given that opportunity. So for him, he wants to kind of like do by any means necessary. Get in a Zoom call, join in the meetings, whatever. Study the offense, study their O-line.
Get the tape in and follow it.
Exactly. And by COVID, the COVID protocol, do what you need to do at home. Keep yourself fit, keep yourself sharp, do your get-offs, whatever. Now, do what you can do at best. Try and reenact stuff from the back garden or whatever, or on the treadmill. Study film while you're exercising. There's so many things you can do while you're not in the actual facility. And we saw that last year. We saw that last year where we caught a lot of players. We saw Dak last year, the off-season he had in his back garden. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
Yeah. But let's look at the big news. We did talk about Michael Gallup. He has moved to IR, so that means minimum 3. But I think by looking at it and the recovery and everything, no surgery needed. So you're looking maybe double what the minimum is. So really you're looking at, I think, about 6 weeks, which is going to be about the end of October by the time we see Michael Gallup return. But the drop-off for me from Gallup to Cedric Wilson is not as bad as the drop-off. As you know, that is in terms of what it is. Because when you think about it, Michael Gallup is wide receiver 3. I'm not saying that Michael Gallup's a bad wide receiver. I love Michael Gallup. I love it. Amazing. And he's part of a 3-headed monster, right? Yeah. But Cedric Wilson is very Michael Gallup-esque in a lot of ways. But the drop-off there isn't so bad when you think you've got Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. But Lyle Collins to Terrence Steele is a massive drop-off, But the bigger one than this is that we've got Terrell Basham in for Tank Lawrence. And the news came out today that he isn't going to need surgery, but he is going to be off. They've just put him to IR, but he is able to return.
Is it between 6 and 8 weeks or something like that?
It's going to be about 8 weeks. It's set date to return, apparently, is about the middle of November. So you're looking Thanksgiving-ish time.
Oh,
it's his fifth metatarsal, which is the same one that he broke. I don't know if it's the same foot, but it's the same one he broke way back in 2014 in his rookie year. He broke that tail end of July. Now he didn't make his first appearance for the Cowboys until November. So but then I think he actually was on physically unable to perform list or whatever. So it was 10 weeks before they could activate him. Obviously this with the IR to return, he can be brought back at any point in time. He just needs to be on a minimum of 3 weeks. So he can be brought back at any point in time. So this should mean that he's able to recover a lot quicker. It all depends whether they're going to put him on, do any surgery if put a plate in to strengthen that foot, you've got to then wait for the bone to graft around that plate, which maybe takes a little bit longer, but makes them stronger and less liable to re-injuring that foot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we talked about it in the post-game show. For us, the big one was Tank was probably the best defensive player in that game. We'll dig into the defense as we get into it. But let's move on to the offense, guys, and talk about the Cowboys offense.
Just before you do that, guys, thanks again for the guys. I've just came into the show. Ready Red, Silver Heaven, who else is just joined in? Saint Ada, guys, for you people for joining in the show for the first time. We much appreciate it, man. Thanks for the subs,
MVPs.
man. MVP guys, thanks again, man.
MVPs.
And it's like, and guys, it's not just America's team; it's the world's team. The world's team.
We need to get that on a t-shirt. But yeah, let's talk about
we're working on it.
Yeah, let's get that on a t-shirt. Let's talk the Cowboys offense versus the LA Chargers. I'm getting it right so far. LA Chargers defense.
You could always say La Chargers.
La.
Yeah.
And then we're appealing. Go on,
you're
sorry,
doing a lot better than Nick Eatman. I think if there was a swear jar or a mess up jar
name jar.
Yeah. I think between the Washington football team, the LA Chargers, he's contributing quite a lot to the Christmas meal, I think.
Hey mate, if we're talking about the Christmas meal, the amount of swearing Rich did in the last episode, he's taking us all out for beers and hot wings at Christmas time. All right, guys. So the thing I wanted to start off with, we all know, I don't know how much you want to talk about Dak. We all know what Dak is. We know what he is.
Yes.
For me, this is the Dak versus Herbert show. I know it sounds a stupid statement to make, right? But for me, whichever quarterback does the best wins the game in this. I know that's like, well, that's obvious. But I mean, like, even more so. The predication of how well the quarterbacks play will determine which team wins, right? Any of you want to talk about Dak's game in this, or do you want to move on to the run game? Because I think this is where the winning is going to come from.
I think the only thing probably to say about it is it was good to see he was so sharp to say that his preseason was hampered, obviously with a couple of little niggles here and there, and obviously didn't get no game time. So for him to step up, especially the caliber of opposition that we faced last week was good to see. It's just a shame that he ended up having to throw for 400 yards because it just ended up showing that it ended up being a shootout between him and Brady.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to think as well that, from all accounts, he audibled out of about 12 run plays or so that, Kellen Moore had called in the huddle, and when he got to the line, obviously saw something he didn't like. There was also supposedly there was a few run pass options that he had as well, where obviously the run didn't look like it was going to be on. So again, he quickly changed to a pass. Used the play action of handing off to Zeke, and then went for the pass. So you're going to get weeks like that. Where he just doesn't see that it's favourable to the Cowboys to run the ball. The one thing is that Zeke is somebody who he's come out this week and said, look, it's not all about my stats. The fact is that we were in that game. I was doing my job. Nobody got to Dak through me. I'd quite happily if that's completing passes, I'd quite happily go in and block. So
you just kind of nailed down the shot. End of the day, unfortunately, we never got the actual win. Unfortunately, we can put all the excuses from last week from the special teams and whatever not. But end of the day, Zeke was being the team player that he is. We were playing to our strengths against their weaknesses in that game, and their strengths was their run stopping, and we were trying to stop them from doing that. which we did. Like you know what? If the passing game's still working, just keep at it. And and for us to kind of say, Zeke didn't run enough, it's like, but would you rather have Zeke run a lot more and still lose, or would you still want to put points on the board and still actually have that chance of winning? You know what I mean? Like, I still feel as though we had a more better chance of winning by through passing the ball during that game based on how the game was developing, you know?
Yeah, and just a very quick one from, you've got Andrew Fraser's, he mentioned about Shannon Gross. He was on this show about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we will get him back on.
We'll get him back on. Yeah, we get them all on.
Yeah, so
yeah, we will get him back.
Really good friend of the show, as a lot of the Dallas Cowboys media are.
Oh yes, quite lucky there. But I wanted to talk mostly, guys, about the run game, running through the analytics, and this is something really that I wanted to go into. Running the numbers, looking at the analytics. The big thing I've noticed, the great spot that I've noticed here is Zeke running in the A gaps and the B gap on the left away from Bosa. Man, if you go and check the numbers on how the Chargers leak through those gaps, and how Zeke, when he hits the middle, the quickest way to the touchdown line, a straight line.
Straight line. You just nailed it there, Mike. Because if there's one game we will expect to see more in this game, as where we'll be expecting to run the ball, and I'm definitely we're all for it. We want to see Zeke,
whatever way to win,
whatever by any means necessary. If we can get the dub, no matter what, I'm happy. But with this game, like you said, the central part of that defensive line, there is some cracks in there, without a doubt. So it's more of I'd say it's not. I'm not more worried about Zeke. I am more worried in terms of, can Connor Williams, can Tyler Biadasz, and we know Zach Martin can, but can the other side and the left side of the ball, can they help open up those gaps in the middle of that defensive line?
I've gone to check it. On the left, the defensive tackles, both of them, Justin Jones and Jerry Tillery, and you got Nwusu on the left defensive end. You just go and check those numbers against the run. At best, you can call it average. And Zeke doesn't need average. If you're against good guys that can stop the run, he's going to find... We all know what Zeke is good at, the dirty yards. But honestly, the thing for me that's important is not the offensive line being able to break the defensive line. It's getting to the second level, to the linebackers, because that's where then they start to come into their own. Their linebackers... They're a little bit better. It's a bit hit and miss with them, but they can do it.
Does it not?
But sorry, Jay.
I don't know if we're going to touch on it in a bit, but does the run game maybe worry you a little bit more than it did last week, just for the fact that the Cowboys have apparently asked Zach Martin to move out to left tackle now? Does that then say that there's no confidence in Connor Williams going to left tackle? But then why would you essentially want to move the best guard in the NFL to left tackle to fill a void for a couple of weeks? Somebody mentioned the comment a bit earlier on that Connor Williams played left tackle for Texas. Why not play Connor Williams there and leave Zach Martin, where he's the best, essentially the best guard in the league, playing where he's good at, and you know you're going to get a lot of production out of Zach Martin. Don't move him to somewhere where he's obviously, even personally said, he's not comfortable playing there.
Well, sorry, Lauren. To be fair, Jamie, playing left tackle to right tackle it's different, man. Like you're using your different rotation, your hips in terms of kickstand.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Use my analogy, Paul. Use my analogy.
What is that again?
Wiping your ass with your other hand.
Right.
It's like wiping your ass with the other hand.
Yeah.
It just seems daft to me to move the best guard in the NFL completely out of position when we know if you keep him where he excels at, could the run game not exceed a lot more there than trying to put it over to a patched up side for the next couple of weeks?
He did. Oh.
Yeah, as Mark says here, both Zach Martin and Connor Williams have played tackle in college.
But right side though.
I think Zach played left tackle.
And
that's
I think
that's the point I'm trying to say. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like I'm pretty sure that Connor Williams always played on the left side.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever played on the right.
Yeah, played left side for Texas.
Yeah. But
making the transition from guard to tackle is a lot easier if you're playing on the same side rather than swapping direction of the line.
I think in some respects, Connor Williams is being kept at guard and interior lineman because if he moves out to tackle and he flourishes out there, then at the end of this season, when it's it's time to re-up his contract, people will players will make more money for playing tackle than they will playing interior offensive line. Now, in some respects, you could say that's being detrimental to the effectiveness of your team by refusing to move somebody. But it's a lot easier having Zach Martin in the middle playing right guard, and he can then help with Tyler Biadish, can also help with Terrence Steele as well at tackle. And the one thing that, as good as Connor McGovern is, he's more of a pass protector than he is a running game or run blocker.
Agree.
Having Zach Martin, we've talked there that, obviously the weakness of the San Diego defensive line is their defensive tackles. Having Zach Martin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Money in the jar.
Sorry, I just know you, but Mark, thanks for correcting me there. I did not realize he actually played right tackle in one game, or in his junior year. I didn't realize that. So, cheers for the comment there, my friend.
Love the in depth.
So again, I mean, as I was saying, the weakness of the Chargers' defensive line is their defensive tackles. Having Zach Martin in the middle, somebody who can steamroll, pancake, whatever, and open those holes for Zeke. The San Diego defense last week gave up 4.7 yards a carry. I mean, you do that, and you're going into third and 1, third and 2. If you run both first and second down, it makes it
keeping the ball alive for sure.
Yeah, keeps the ball alive. It takes the pressure off Dak that he's not having to wait 9-10 seconds, especially if we are going up compromised that Joey Bosa is going to be going up against Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele's not anything like Rashawn Slater, who absolutely owned Chase Young last week, and
zero pressures.
Obviously, it's going to lead to certain people raising the question again: is who should we have drafted in the draft this year?
Parsons, regardless.
I'd take Parsons as well, but it's those who like to question everything that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones do. That's going to be the underlying question all the way through this game, I think.
Well, here's a good one, right? A way you can mitigate the linebackers is both Kazia White and Kenneth Murray, who's on my fantasy team, by the way. They're not bad against the run. More Kenneth Murray than White. But where they really struggle, which is where I think the 1-2 punch with Zeke and Pollard are going to come into play, is using Pollard on the receiving game, which is practically what he was doing. Those short swing passes and shovel passes and just the quick passes. They're practically just an extended handoff. But this actually goes in Pollard's favor because both Murray and White, their grades and their missed tackle rate is unbelievable, especially in coverage. They absolutely, they're not very good at it at all. They're big-bodied linebackers that struggle a little bit in chasing down the ball in the receiving game, which is where Tony Pollard is going to be good. And I think you put Zeke going down the A and the B gap, flowing away from Bosa, and you use Tony Pollard on these swing passes and try and get in those linebackers when you could catch them off guard in a nickel package. I think it's going to be it's a perfect time. I was just about to say that. See Pollard do it.
Because we've seen it before. We've had Zeke and Pollard in at the same time. I don't see why not. You know,
get into the 21-man personnel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That really, you're just using Schultz as an extra blocker to help out over there because he's going to be on your strong side. So just keep your strong side over there with Dalton Schultz helping out Terrence Steele against Joey Bosa, because we see if you watched last week's game, Bosa is human. He can get bowled over and he can get pancaked.
Yep.
Which leads me off to that one. But where I think there's some key matchups here, the biggest key matchup for me, we said it last week. So when we say stuff, sometimes we're right. Okay. So last week we said Antonio Brown versus Anthony Brown is a horrific matchup.
Yeah.
This week, that matchup exists. But luckily, that's for the Cowboys. And that's CD Lamb when they are playing 3 wide receiver sets. So when they play 3 wide receiver sets, what I'm looking at is how they're going to match up. And what I've seen is Michael Davis on the outside trying to cover CD Lamb. That happens, CD Lamb's gone. It is a touchdown.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That is, for me, the key matchup, because the way I'm looking at it is Cooper's against Asante Samuel Jr., and he's a rookie. So what's Cooper going to do with a rookie?
He's going to maul him.
He's going to maul the outside.
He's going to maul him.
So to me, the way the Chargers are going to look at this is they're going to turn around and go, give safety help. And they're going to bring in pretty much their best defensive player, which is a guy I wanted the Cowboys to draft, Derwin James. And he's going to overhang the top. And he's going to help Cooper over there. So he's going to have Asante Samuel. But what I'm trying to get to is this is leaving CD Lamb on the overside.
It's leaving the gap for the overside for Lamb. I think you're spot on, because like the Chargers defense, they'll be thinking Cooper will be the more primary threat, because obviously
you can't leave him with a rookie on his own.
Exactly, you need to double up on him. So and we do have another stud wide receiver, but I still think we still have the forgotten man in Cedric Wilson. I think
Cedric Wilson, honestly, I've put. Go on, sorry.
And not to mention, with like I said, Derwin James kind of shifting over to the side, there's actually opportunity for Schultz and Jarwin as well. So there's plenty of opportunity when it comes to the aerial attack of the ball.
Yep.
If they decide to switch things up and they try and mix it up, right, and they put Michael Davis over Cedric Wilson, then that is an even better matchup for the guy. Because from just to give you an idea, the career stats of Michael Davis, the cornerback, from 2017 is he's allowed over 1,600 yards, a 63% completion rate. Versus the run, he's had 23 missed tackles. He's only had 5 interceptions. He's allowed 5 touchdowns. And the guy is 6'2". And the reason why I'm saying that's important is I don't think they will put him in the slot with Cedric Wilson. They'll put him on the outside with CD Lamb, because CD Lamb is taller. And that's why I see that as the matchup, because you're not going to put their other cornerback, who is Chris Harris Jr., because he's only 5'9".
Yeah,
that's tiny for that position for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't put that guy with an outside wide receiver like CD Lamb, who as well, what his big thing is the 50-50 ball, high point in the ball. He will go and get it, and he'll make the big spectacular catch. I'm not putting my short cornerback out there. I'm going to put him on Cedric Wilson. But that's already a problem anyway. So I'm going to have Michael Davis and wide receiver sets with CD Lamb. That game is over all the time, because I'm shadowing my best safety with the overhang on Amari Cooper. Lamb's feeding all day.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing with the Cowboys wide receivers, obviously, it's a case of pick your own poison when it's a passing play. You double cover Amari, CD Lamb goes off, you try and bracket both of them. You've got Jarwin, you've got Cedric Wilson, whoever. Yep. So,
there's nothing wrong with Cedric Wilson either.
No. I mean, you saw the way he went off in that Seattle game. You could quite easily see that happening again this year. And Seattle was weak week 2, wasn't it, last year as well? So
Yeah.
I've got an interesting question just came in from Mark there. Would you give Simi any reps?
No.
No?
No.
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 He's not ready.
Yeah.
Not
He
the
ain't
way that
ready.
not the way
Graham
he's
just
wobbling
bagging
passes. You don't want a Lenny Fournette easy interception
Yeah.
like last week. So
Just to kind of add on, guys, we'll move on to the defense because I can see the comments.
We're almost finished with the offense.
Yeah.
We're almost finished.
We will cover this. We will cover this, man.
Here's a big thing, though, right? Going back on ourselves a little bit was talking about the run game, that we were talking about the A and the B gap. Here's something that people are forgetting. The one thing, every time this guy leaves the offensive line, our average rush per attempt goes down. As soon as he comes up, it goes up by half a yard. Zach Martin's back.
Thank God.
Nobody has talked about Zach Martin coming back.
I know.
And in this game,
I know.
perfect time for it.
Yeah, especially when they've got not as a strengthened interior defensive line compared to Tampa. So this could be like a nice game for Zach Martin to slot back in and actually completely pancake Fools to the ground. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well.
Yep.
And we'll move to the defense in a sec. The only thing I wanted to add is Chris Harris Jr. and Nasir Adderley. Because we talked about quarterback ratings for defensive players, and you never want to allow a high one. Both of them are over 100 quarterback rating. Chris Harris Jr. 128 quarterback rating allowed. Nasir Adderley 119. So I'm attacking that all day because they're just they're leaking. They're leaking over there. So I'm going to try and attack that. Boosh. And I'm loving that. But all right then, guys. We can move on to the defense if you guys want.
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
All right then. Let's move to the defense. Everyone's very eager to talk about the defense, so we'll get onto that.
Yep.
right. So I mean,
go on, mate.
I sat down this week with the coaches film on NFL Game Pass, and I watched the Washington LA Chargers game. And I actually sat there. The first half, I basically looked at it. Everything that they run is pretty much either 10 personnel. They even went empty backfield, 11 personnel, sometimes 2 tight end sets. But the one thing that got me is that, the receivers were brought in tight and in bunch right up against that offensive line. Now, what that gives is, rather than having them spread out against the numbers, it gives you about 15 yards to play with, doing 5-yard outs, so they can move the ball. They've got a lot of real estate there. They've got by bringing them in close. On run plays, a lot of the run plays were outside zone runs.
That's the key.
So again, these receivers are all 6'2", 200 pounds, 210 pounds. So they're able to handle their blocking assignments as well on these outside runs. Having them in tight as well. The other thing as well is it forces the defense that you're facing to spell out whether they're going into a zone coverage or a man coverage, and then these receivers can then pick off that, and you create mismatches by getting the rub routes in, and it's going to be a big battle here. Now the one thing as well that obviously Antonio Brown is only he's about 6 foot, or he's just under 6 foot, depending on how short the tape measure is each week. This might be, and unfortunately, obviously, he's missed training one day this week due to the personal
issue. You mean Anthony Brown?
Anthony Brown, sorry, I can't remember.
That's more money in the swear jar.
Yeah, okay. But this is maybe a game where you might want to try big on big, because obviously Diggs will take on Keenan Allen. That then leaves you somebody up against Mike Williams, who's 6'4".
Yeah, that
okay. Anthony Brown against Mike Williams is going to be a big mismatch. this is maybe somewhere that you at least try out a couple of times, is bringing on Nashawn Wright.
Yes, I was just
and you can go big on big there.
I think we're going to have to look at alternatives because, like, in terms of size and speed, I think Nashawn Wright would probably be a bit more of a better matchup compared to Mike Williams, than actually having Anthony Brown to Mike Williams. So
I mean, if anything, Nashawn Wright, if he plays or not, tells us everything. If he plays in this game, then obviously he's done enough for the coaches. If he doesn't play, then they've answered our question for it. That obviously he's not ready yet. I've actually gone.
That's a nice way of putting it there, Andrew, I suppose.
yeah. But what I was going to say is I've gone the other way. See, that the way I want to do it is I want to shut Diggs down, and there's a method to my Diggs. I want to shut Mike Williams down with Diggs. That I'm going to make Diggs travel. Like let's shut the big body down, because this guy's built almost like a tight end. He's a big guy, not just tall. He's a big guy. I'm going to put Diggs and I'm going to travel. So we've got our best corner, and you're just going to shut it down, right? Mm-hmm. Allen, we know, plays from the slot quite a lot.
Yeah,
didn't mean to rhyme.
Yep. We kind of witnessed that. We witnessed that back in 2017.
Yeah,
but I was at that game back in Thanksgiving. Somebody destroyed us.
Somebody has already beaten me to the punch on what I was going to do. Is I'm going to have Diggs on Williams. When it comes to Allen, Jordan Lewis from the slot, right? If he's struggling, you've got Maurice Kennedy, who's great from the slot. You're only going to play Kennedy from the slot. Yeah, but what I am going to do is they've mentioned that he's going to dress for this game, Malik Hooker. And Malik Hooker comes in. There's your cover guy. So they're overhanging a safety for Cooper. I'm going to overhang Hooker on our side for Keenan Allen. And so then I've got J-Lu covering it close from the slot, and I've got Hooker with the overhang for the coverage. That's why I'm doing that. Now all you got to worry about is if Anthony Brown can cover on the other side. And I again, running the analytics, that would mean he's against, which is a fairly good matchup for him, would be against Jalen Guyton, right?
Former Cowboys training camp.
And I've gone through the analytics and looking at it. If Anthony Brown can't beat Guyton, we've got a problem. That this is a game that he needs to bounce back from. So it's going to tell you two things: if he's got it athletically and mentally. Because if he can't bounce back in this game, you haven't got much of a cornerback. Here it is, right? From 2019, this is what Guyton's done. He's had 20 first downs and 3 touchdowns. In 2020, he had 4 penalties, 6 drops, 2 interception tips, 511 yards, and all of his work lives between the numbers. If he's between the numbers, he's great. He's gonna catch that ball and go for a touchdown. So you need Anthony Brown to literally jam him at the line and keep him off that route. Because then if you do that, he's got a great matchup. And Anthony Brown is a fairly physical guy. And we know that he's fast as well. He's got great speed. So I think this is a matchup that you get to see if he can bounce back. Him and Guyton is a perfect chance, a little testing ground to do what you do. So then you keep your best guy on Williams, so you're shutting that down, and 2 guys on Allen.
That kind of leaves
something to think about.
Again, it kind of reverse psychology to what we're kind of thinking as well. It's like what we're doing for our offense is kind of the same primarily for their offense now.
A little bit.
Because it kind of leaves the gap for the tight end now, as well.
But you've got Donovan Wilson for that. So you got Cook versus Donovan Wilson. They're fairly balanced in terms of ability and what they do and where their strengths and weaknesses are. Donovan Wilson and Cook, I was running the numbers again on them pair, fairly close.
Well, just a little bit.
Andrew, you're a fill of it tonight, my friend.
Yeah, go on, Jamie. People want to hear from you. Give it to us.
Give
it to us, Godfather.
Can you not match it up a little bit and maybe use one of the linebackers on the inside there? And
You can, because you've got Keanu Neal. The only issue I've got...
Or even a Micah Parsons, and I know you maybe want him coming in and trying to cause havoc a little bit more, but we've seen the pace he's got. So why not? Do you know what I mean? Because
here's where I want to use Parsons, is that you've got the issue we've got now is you can't go to base, right? So it's another game where the narrative is going to creep up. Jalen Smith and LVE haven't played much. They haven't played much because we're going to have to play nickel, not because of their passing threat, but because of what Austin Eckler represents. That this guy is a rusher and a receiver. He's a dual threat running back, and he's probably one of the best in the NFL at dual threat. So that's why you need to keep Neal on the field. And if you're keeping Neal on the field, he's going to cover either Cook, and you bring in you're going to bring Donovan Wilson into the box to do something else. Maybe you're trying to mix things up a bit. Or you're going to put Parsons, which is really why I want to use Parsons this week, is over on the other edge with Terrell Basham, and both of them pissed, screaming off the edge, blitzing, trying to knock Herbert off his game.
I mean, there's potential that you could maybe bring Jalen Smith on as to spell Parsons as well. That you've got him.
Just what you're going to use him, yeah.
You know, you're not going to have him as a hand down in the dirt typical defensive end like Tank, which is something, that's going to be a difficult thing to replace. But you see that with our defense, at least one of the defensive ends is up in a bicycle kick situation anyway.
Yeah.
Or bicycle stance anyway. So, you could potentially play one of them as a sort of 3-4 linebacker with the designation of pass rush.
I can definitely see with this game going ahead, going forward. Like it's, oh God, who's the bloody player for Denver again?
Which one now? Von Miller.
Yeah, I can see that kind of being this more of a scenario for Micah Parsons being like the Von Miller. He kind of lines up on the edge, but he still runs his linebacker. I mean, when we've seen during the preseason that he has taken snaps doing that, and he's worked with Adam Dirt, the defensive line coach, not so to work on his pass rush. So yeah, I can definitely see that being more of the case of what we're going to be, how we utilize Parsons with this game, I think.
Yeah, it's really how they want to try and mix it up, and because you got to bear in mind that they're against Herbert, who he does throw a very, very pretty ball. When that ball, the mechanics are like immaculate, and he's got a quick release too. And you look at his time to throw as well; it's like 2.3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
He does it really, really quick. He doesn't need much time. A lot of that is because of what Keenan Allen's doing from the slot, mind, that he's just able to get free so easily.
Yeah.
But it's still Herbert's able to process it and get that ball out quick enough. And I think the only way you're going to do that is pressures aren't going to be enough. Herbert under pressure is really good. If you go and have a look at Justin Herbert's number versus when he's under pressure, he's not that bad. He's like above average. So the only way you're going to do it is you've got to get to him. You've got to put your hand on him. You've got to hit him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as we've already discussed, the Chargers have got a very good tackle in Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
The other side is it depends on who's starting, because the former Packers tackle Brian Balaga is normally the starter, but he only played 45 snaps last week, and then
for good reason.
He's suffering from back spasms, I believe. So in came somebody. Who was it? Storm. What's his name?
I know. I can't remember his name.
Storm Norton.
Yeah.
And then, as soon as he came in, that's when Chase Young gave up on attacking Rashawn Slater and moved across to that side, or moved up and down the line to try and get some sort of pressure. Now, admittedly, I think who was it? I think Herbert actually did give up throw a pick at least once last week as well. Turned the ball over.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
One
touchdown, one interception.
Yep. So he is capable of tossing interceptions. You know, it's just, can you get in his face, block his views? As I say, a lot of their passes are quick passes, 5-yard, you know, rub routes. They operate a lot of run pass option as well, which is obviously something he's been doing 4 or 5 years in college. So he knows how to operate that sort of system. It's obviously it's something that he's comfortable with, and that's why he's managed to hit the ground running in the NFL. So it's just a case of take his strengths away and try and get in his face and block the passing lanes. But he's a tall guy. He'll be able to see over a lot of people. So you got to get your hands up as well. If you're not going to get in his face, you've got to get your hands up and make him throw high.
And bat those balls down.
The D line as well, because the D line obviously is not up to scratch and hasn't been for a while. So, and a lot of people have said, in the comments that, I mean, back Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch. I mean, this is where these two guys potentially can start to shine, because, like you say, Herbert's got a quick release. He don't hold on to the ball too much, so the linebackers are going to get their fair share of action this week, if it's up close to the line or if it's in the backfield chasing down the receivers. So it's just a shame that, like I say, that this. We can't seem to get this right mix at the minute on the front three, however you want to say it. Because try to get it, flush him out of the pocket, like, and get him running around a bit, and then, like I say, you can get Parsons who's quick as hell, and Gifford now and again you see flashes from Gifford with a bit of pace. So it's just can we get this front line up and running, and, you know what I mean, and getting a lot of pressures, getting some sacks, like I say, and just taking a little bit of pressure off. I mean, the fact that we might have to just patch up a little bit at cornerback, just for the fact that we've got no one really that can take on Williams or take on Allen.
Yeah, but look, right, the centre of the line is another area of weakness that people aren't talking about. Everyone's talking like lauded about Beluga, because, I mean, his last game, that guy, he had 45.2 pass blocking grade, which is terrible. But in the centre, they've got Corey Lindsey, and that is an amazing matchup for Osa, Urban, and Watkins if they want to crash that part of the line.
Right, that's one guy I want to talk about. Is Osa Adigizua. Osa, I think this is going to be because we know that I would say that if there's, in terms of a weak gap in their offensive line, is more the interior, kind of similar to us. Like, would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah,
I would. Yeah.
But for Osa, sorry, my dog just kind of woke up, and that's him walking about.
That's right.
So
he heard the word Osa, and he's gone, "Oh yeah, let's get involved."
Yeah, he wants to tackle somebody now. So, but yeah, in terms of Osa Adigizua, I think with him, with his speed getting off the snap, I really think he can be the difference maker of actually putting the pressure on Herbert to make him move out. Like, depending on what the play is as well, and also the run stopping ability as well. Yeah. I think he is the guy. I think he is really going to be the one we're going to be talking about in the post-game show. I really do.
All right, I like it.
You mentioned Urban, and I like to pick up in the off-season. Like I say, he doesn't get a lot of snaps, especially when you saw a lot of the tape from his time in the Bears. But when he gets on, he might only get on for 5-6 snaps a game. And he's always causing havoc. He's always creating a lot of pressure. Let's see him maybe double that snap wise, and let's see him get that done every play in the star.
Yeah,
no,
go on.
The one thing I was going to say as well is Lindsley is another one of somebody who used to be on the Packers with McCarthy. So if McCarthy knows any weaknesses of Lindsley, this will be something that they'll be discussing in the coaches' meetings this week. So he was susceptible to this, and you can get bypass. And Dan Quinn should be able to scheme around that as well. So.
Yeah, so it's a good point that both of them, both Brian and Corey, have both played in Green Bay. at the same time as when McCarthy was there. It's a good point. I forgot about that. I tell you what, though. Shall we? Yeah, let's do it. Should we get some score predictions, and we'll move on to the fantasy section. We could do the best bit of the show, the fantasy section, where you can win some free UK Cowboys merch just by getting involved. That post will be up tomorrow for people who aren't watching us live, though, so don't worry. Okay, score predictions. I'm going Cowboys 31-17.
31-17. I'm going 35-24 Cowboys.
Damn it! You just read my mind. Right, I'll go 37. I'll go 37-26.
What did you say? Sorry, Buckfast. What did you say?
35-24.
35-24 to the Buckfast. Godfather, what are you going
hold
for?
on a minute. Before you move on, Andrew just made a fantastic point, and I said this on the posting.
Yes. Yeah.
This is literally a second home game. This is literally a home game. The fan base in California for Cowboys is huge, massive. Yep. And oh man, and I should be at that game, but no, I'm not.
And I think that's as well why the booking line is only -3.5. Is that is if that is a home game for the Chargers.
So we've got
and that is what you would normally get. Now, if they were trying to say that the Chargers were superior to the Cowboys, then you would expect that line to be bigger. So you'd be expecting the sort of 7.5, 8.5 that we had last week against Tampa Bay. We're not seeing that. So they're basically saying that the Chargers' home field advantage, which isn't a home field advantage. They could barely fill out the high school stadium that they were using, or the football arena that they were using a couple of years back.
The football stadium, yeah. It was a Galaxy. It was LA Galaxy's old football stadium.
Yeah, I better be careful because I've got a friend who last time we played on Thanksgiving, I ended up having to wear Chargers blue the next day because I was trying to get her to wear a DCC uniform, but no, Cowboys went and screwed the pooch that game. So I ended up wearing Chargers blue.
Right, so let me bring up all the comments of all the scores.
Jamie, I want to get the Godfather score prediction.
Yep, sorry, Jamie.
31-17 to the Cowboys, and Zeke is off for over 100 yards this week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
we got the same score, Jay.
Yeah. Well,
great minds, pal. Great minds.
Me and Laura put the same score technically.
Yeah.
But so within the comments, I already kind of displayed it earlier. So Red went for 34-24.
God alive.
Andrew went for 27-24. Mark went for 28-17. What else do we have? Andrew Lunsford went for 35-28. Benny just came in there with the comment 24-17. That seems to be quite a popular one, 24-17. Who else do we have? Valente, what was your score prediction? You said you were going to post one up, but I can't see it.
He did. He was one of the first ones.
Is it right at the very start? Right, hold on.
37-27 for Valente.
37-27. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, so let's do the fantasy section, guys, and we can wrap it up. This is where you can win some free.
Yeah, we need to explain how this game works for sure for our new guys here.
All right, then let's kick it off. I tell you what, she put the heating on when she came in and it's starting to get warm in here. All right, so this is really, really easy, guys, right? So we give you, so these guys are going to say boy, oh boy, or oh boy. So it's basically a game of over or under. I'm going to give you the fantasy points. All you got to do is say over or under. The points are cumulative, so you get the first one right. So we're going to give you Dak first. Get that one right, you get 1 point. You get the next one right, you get 2 points. You get the next one right, you get 4 points. So on and so forth. At the end of the season, week 17, whoever the winner is on the big leaderboard, which you'll see up tomorrow, No, wait, you won't see it tomorrow. No,
No.
you'll see the post tomorrow, not the leaderboard. Get this right. So whoever's at the top at the end, you're going to get a free Cowboys hat. It's easy as that. And you don't even need to do anything. It's totally free. You can live anywhere in the world, apart from Antarctica. Do people live in Antarctica?
Well, don't forget Metallica played a concert in Antarctica. Remember?
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
They might want a UK Cowboys woolly hat. Maybe not. Not a
All right, then, guys. We'll start things off here and let everybody get involved. Just put it in, or if you want to keep it till tomorrow when the post is up, just put your scores in, your fantasy scores. As long as they're in by the game, you're in with a chance to win. All right, then, guys. Dak, rounded off score, 20 fantasy points. I'm going to let the Godfather go first. So, what's it going to be? Boy for more, or oh boy for less?
Oh boy, he's getting more than 20 points this week.
20 points. Is that the estimate they just given Dak?
Yeah, that's what they're giving you.
That's what it was. That's what it was last week as well. So I mean, yeah, boy,
higher.
Oh boy,
Higher.
We're all going boy, oh boy on that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right then, Zeke. 14 fantasy points. Is that boy, oh boy, or oh boy?
Boy, oh boy.
Jamie's going boy, oh boy.
I had to do because I already said, didn't I, in my score prediction that he was going to get this week.
I'm going to say it's level. I say that's quite accurate.
You're going to go with that. He gets 14 points, so you're going to push,
14,
yeah?
Yep, I say 14 points is actually quite a realistic number for Zeke for this game.
Go on, I'll take the boy, oh boy on that one.
Oh, all right, I like it. All positive. And the reason, in case anybody's wondering why I never play this game, is because I say boy, oh boy to everything. I say it's going to be more. It's kind of boring, really. All right, then. Let's go to Coop, then. Amari Cooper, 15 fantasy points.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
More than 15.
Easily, boy, oh boy. Easily. 15 points.
Yes.
Sure.
You're talking about, if you said maybe 22, oh, my dog wants to say hello. What?
I mean, you've got more chance to the Giants' offensive line not tackling each other than you know what I mean?
Valenti's actually went for oh boy. He's actually went for Valenti.
All right. Like I say, you get involved in the chat now, but when you want to put it in for the leaderboard, it'll be on a post tomorrow. All right, then. Next one, guys.
I haven't said what I'm going to go. Oh boy, I'm actually going to go. Oh boy, on that because purely as we discussed last week, I think it's a case of pick your own poison, and I think that we'll be focusing on Cooper, and therefore I think CD Lamb's going to eat today or this week. So I think they'll keep Cooper under wraps, and I think CD Lamb's going to go off big style.
Well, Mike, he's up next.
Mike, just before you can on, see regards to the post, we just need to let everybody know how they can actually communicate is through our Facebook group, our Facebook post, and our Twitter post. Leave the comment. And Instagram. So, guys, on our social media platforms, be sure to just leave the comment, put what you think.
It's literally a game of over or under.
Yeah. So it'll be like Prescott higher, Zeke lower. That's all you need to put in your comment.
And then you're in with a chance. It takes a second of your time, and boosh, you're in on the leaderboard. And you are playing against these guys too. So let's find out who's better.
But we won't win the prize. The next person that.
No. Yeah, it's like in the actual UK Cowboys fantasy that leagues we've got going. There's a UK Cowboys team. They can't win, unfortunately. All right, then. CD Lamb, guys. 16 fantasy points.
Well, I think based on what you guys are saying, I think everyone's going to say boy, oh boy.
I'm going to go. I think that's probably just about right, just from what Lorne.
Do you want to push then?
Yeah,
do you want to push?
Just like you say, you've got to pick your poison this week. We can be greedy and say, I think that's just about right for CD Lamb.
Yeah. All right then.
Benny with the boy oh boy as well. Okay.
I like it. The more boy oh boys I see, the happier I feel.
Yeah, the boy oh boys.
All right.
What we like to see.
But now we can go the other way, guys. Justin Herbert, 21 fantasy points.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I
Oh,
say,
boy.
oh boy. No, I'm no. Depending how we've got Anthony Brown on the game, that's what I'm worried about.
I think utilise, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a boy, oh boy, for Justin Herbert. I really do. Which I hate to say.
Hey, there's no problem in being a realist, brother.
Yep.
I got windy pops.
Yep.
Go on. What are you going for, Lorne?
Yep. Boy, oh boy, as well.
I think I'm going oh boy on that one. I'm hoping that our we continue the turnover fest that we had last week.
Turnovers are key. Turnovers are key.
That keeps him.
Well, this is when we start talking about our
well.
defensive points. Cowboys defense and Chargers defense. That's the key.
Yep.
That's the key one.
Well, I haven't included them this week in the scores, but we can touch on them if you want. If you want to because it's just basically just quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers we just cover for the fantasy. Yeah, really. Defenses kind of get a bit boring because it's always the same. They're always predicted to get 6 points. All right.
Wow.
Austin Eckler. This is a bit of a killer. Austin Eckler this week, 19 fantasy points.
What?
No.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
If he gets 19 points,
what the hell is NFL.com fantasy smoking right now? Seriously?
They're looking at rushing and receiving, aren't they?
If he gets,
you've got to think this is a half-point PPR. Go on, sorry, Godfather.
I was going to say, if he gets 19 points, I'll show my ass on the show next week. There's no way on this.
Yeah, then we'll get monetized.
Yeah. Then we get taken off here, and DallasCowboys.com and Derek Eagleton are having words.
Yeah, we'll be in big trouble.
Yeah. But we've seen your ass before, Jay. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
You need to squat more, mate.
And you need to shave.
Well, we'll put it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valenti.
But what are you going for, Paul? 19 fantasy points. Boy, oh boy, or oh boy?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Jamie?
Yeah. Oh
Godfather?
He's not getting 19 points.
No. All right. Keenan Allen, 13 fantasy points.
That's probably around about right.
Yeah,
I've seen that, and I was like,
I'd say that's quite accurate. It's more Mike Williams. I'm more thinking about.
Yeah, I'll push on that one.
Lawns on a push. Are you all pushing?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair statement.
Okay. Do you want to do Williams or Cook?
Williams. Yeah.
Williams. 11 fantasy points.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
Okay. We're all going boy, oh boy there. Are you going boy, oh boy, Lorne?
Yep.
You are? Okay, there we go. Rightio, Skip, rightio. So that is tomorrow. There will be a fantasy lounge board going up, so you can just we'll put the scores up, you check it in there, you're immediately entered. It's as simple as that. Every week that goes up then, so just get involved. Something for a bit of fun, as always. So yeah, also don't forget tonight, the Giants and the Washington football team are playing, so we'll watch that one. Also, though, in other NFC East news, the Eagles are playing the 49ers, so that should be an interesting watch, to say nonetheless. But before we go, we just do some bill paying. If you are going to a game this year, guys, make sure you book it with Cowboys Experience. They have the tailgate parties, packages, stadium tours, and everything that you need. And all you've got to do is say to them that we sent you. Just say the word UK Cowboys, and what happens, guys?
You get
a lifetime supply of chocolate pudding.
Yes,
chocolate pudding.
It says, guys, you get some free stuff. This can include from liners to signed photographs and T-shirts of memorabilia,
replica Super Bowl rings.
It could be varied. So be sure to go and contact Cowboys Experience.
It might be a photo of Jamie's ass. Depends what happens.
Oh God,
shaved or unshaved.
But also, guys, before we go as well, be sure to go follow our fellow content creators as well, from 105 The Fan, Hannah with the Boys, and like so I'm sorry, my dog just started moaning there. I do apologise, but yeah. So,
mate, if you're gonna let one go, mute yourself.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That was the dog. but yeah, guys, be sure to go and check out our fellow friends and content creators within the Cowboys Nation. So be sure to go and check them out.
And it is as easy as that, guys. And obviously, as well, follow our social media. We are everywhere. So you can follow us, get involved, like us, dislike us, argue with us. I kind of like a good argument every now and then. But that is episode 134 of UK Cowboys. For people in the UK Cowboys group, there will be this Sunday a virtual tailgate party. So get your beers, get your hot wings, get your popcorn and nachos. We'll all be there as well as the rest of the gang. So come and join in. Chat with us. As things continue, we'll try and get some special guests on there too. So we'll see how that goes. But from episode 134, pre-game show, we will be back Tuesday, same time. Join us then, and we'll look at what went right, what went wrong. But I'm going to let these lot finish off the show.
Thanks again, guys. And thanks for everyone that came onto the show for the first time tonight. You guys are the real MVPs.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't. We'd just be doing this job, but we'd be talking to anybody, no matter what. But I mean, having this interaction is brilliant. It gives us things to consider as well. So, I'm really happy with the correspondence tonight. It's been brilliant. So, I'll just sign off by saying, hope everybody has a good week and go Cowboys.
Yeah.
Let's get this win.
Thank you, everybody, again. Everybody's touched on it, saying for joining in tonight. And as we've said, virtual tailgate Sunday. So if you're not in the Facebook group, just get on Facebook, search UK Dallas Cowboys fans, and we'll put the link up there from about, I think, did we say 7:30 UK time?
Something like that. We'll go for, yeah.
So I'm just
find out what time, everybody.
That's 1:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
Yes.
So grab yourself some beer, get some Cowboys gear on, and let's have a virtual piss up.
Have a great weekend, guys. Stay safe.
See you guys.